We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Searching for old treasures, blowing off the dust. Timeless stories and legendary characters. This is Talking Movies. Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome back to another Talking Movies. So on today's Talking Movies, we are going to be discussing the James Karabatsos written and directed by John Irvin 1987's Hamburger Hill. Now this one is actually supposed to be based on true events. These are things that are actually supposed to have happened. And it lends a little bit more gravity to this Vietnam-inspired era movie. Starring Anthony Burrell as Private Vincent Alphabet Languilli, Michael Boatman, Private Ray Motown, Don Cheadle as Private Johnny Washburn, Michael Dolan as Private Harry Murphy, Don James as Private Elliot Mac McDaniel, Dylan McDermott as Sergeant Adam France, Michael A. Nichols as Private Paul Galvan, Harry O'Reilly as Private Michael Duffy, Daniel O'Shea as Private Frank Gagin, Tim Quill as Private Joe Beletsky, Tommy Swirldlow as Private Martin Beinstock, Courtney B. Vance as Specialist Abraham Doc Johnson, Stephen Weber as SFC Dennis Worcester, Tegan West as Lieutenant Terry Eden, and then the rest of the cast that make out this film. And the brief summary of what this one is about goes as such. Vietnam, 1969, Hill 937. 10 days, 70% casualties. Those are the facts. This is the story. The men of Bravo Company are facing a battle that's all uphill. Up Hamburger Hill. 14 war-weary soldiers are battling for a mud-covered mound of earth, so named because it chews up soldiers like chopped meat. They are fighting for their country, their fellow soldiers, and their lives. War is hell. This is the worst. Hamburger Hill tells it the way it was, the way it really was. It's a raw, gritty, and totally unrelenting dramatic depiction of one of the fiercest battles of America's bloodiest war. Dodge the gunfire, get caught behind enemy lines, go into battle beside the brave young men who fought and died. Feel their desperation and futility. This happened. Hamburger Hill, war at its worst, men at their best. So one of the things that they actually did in this film is they actually tried to borrow from real history when they were making this one, because this is actually based on true events. Now, near the end of the film, there is a scene where a soldier, his face is covered with bandages, is actually reaching out to his comrades as they hurry past him. Now, this is actually taken from a famous picture taken at the real Hamburger Hill.
You'll be all right, sir.
And just like Platoon from 1986, both of these were shot in the Philippines. And this was actually released several months after Oliver Stone's Vietnam-era film Platoon in 1986, which won a Best Picture at the Oscars. Now, in between the two films' releases, Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket 1987 was released. And screenwriter James Karabatsos had fought in the Vietnam War, and is one reason that producer Marcia Nasser came on board is because her son had also fought in Vietnam. And because of this, they led a realism to it that was highly applauded by Vietnam veterans because of not only its authenticity, but because of the brutality that was actually in that war. And in addition to those who already had firsthand knowledge, a number of Vietnamese advisors also took part to ensure the authenticity of the Vietnamese people. John Irvin in particular made sure that the film looked real. And all the characters in this movie were named after men that writer James Carabatsos had fought alongside. Now, because this one actually released a full month after Full Metal Jacket of course got all the attention, especially because it was directed by Stanley Kubrick. This one kind of fell to the wayside, and this movie actually had quite a few theatrical breakthroughs in its cast, including Don Cheadle, Dylan McDermott, and Courtney B. Vance. And as a testament to how brutal that this actual battle was, the movie's opening prologue states, on 10th of May 1969, troops of the 101st Airborne Division engaged the enemy at the base of Hill 937 in the A. Shaw Valley. 10 days and 11 bloody assaults later, the troops who fought there called it Hamburger Hill. And in the closing credits, there is included a famous poem about the war written by Major Michael Davis O'Donnell on January 1st of 1970. O'Donnell, who was declared missing in action on March 24th, 1970, after piloting a helicopter on an extraction mission inside Cambodia. He was declared killed in action in 1978. Now, his remains were recovered and identified with DNA testing many years later and were interred at Arlington National Cemetery in 2001. And this film's brutality didn't actually stop with just the on-screen. Now, this is not actually funny, but when you think about how brutal that this movie actually was, which I'm going to touch on just a little bit more in a second, it is kind of weird that there was actually a fatality on the set of this movie. Now, an electrician was electrocuted in front of the cast and crew. The production was almost completely shut down, but it eventually would continue after a memorial service was held. Now, this movie, unlike a lot of other war movies, was extremely brutal and violent, more so than you have seen in most other movies. Like, how many movies can you recall where they showed a Vietnam era type of war where people's heads were actually exploding from gunfire? This is a really nasty and dirty look on how absolutely brutal the fighting in that war was. And it actually may be because of this actual truth and the representation of how terrible war can be is maybe one of the reasons that this movie is so often overlooked. I personally had found this one years ago because I was huge into watching all these Vietnam era type of shows. From Platoon to Full Metal Jacket to Hamburger Hill to a TV series that I actually have a full collection of called Tour of Duty. And I also had a comic book series called The Nam. If you were looking to watch a war movie that is legit in my eyes, if you're looking for something that actually shows how brutal it really was, this is the movie that you really need to watch. And it really is a shame that this one is so often overlooked by everybody.
You people will not die on me in combat. You fucking new guys will do everything to prove me wrong. This is hard. You walk on trails, kick cans, sleep on guard, smoke dope, and diddly bop through the bush like you were back on the block. Give him his goop, slope, slant, or dink. He is your enemy. He came over on the Chu Hoi program, and he'll go back out there after he fattens up on sea rations. Or in guard at night, you write letters, play with your organ, and think of your girl back home. And he will be hunting your young asses in the A Shao Valley. Now forget about this Viet Cong shit. People, I am tired of filling body bags with your dumb fucking mistakes. You think this funny?
He's one healthy individual. I got people in this fucking platoon that's so sick they wouldn't be allowed in a hospital.
Don't mean nothing, man. It don't mean nothing. Come on, man. You owe it to yourself. It don't mean nothing. Not a thing.
Not a thing.
It don't mean nothing. Not a thing.
You're on.
You'll be all right, sir.
Anyway, guys, that's all I have on this one. Have you ever heard of this movie? Are you interested in seeing this movie now? Do you know anything about it? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And of course, as always, my friends, I am so thankful that you decided to stop by and spend some time with me here on the channel. It is truly appreciated. And if you enjoyed what you've seen and what you heard, go ahead and destroy that like button for me. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. I am glad that you are here and that you found your way to the Guinea Pig Collective. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen and what you heard, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, remember, never let anybody tell you what you should and shouldn't do, what you can and cannot watch, what you should or should not say, because your silence gives consent. And I will catch you all next time. Later, y'all.